Today I want to talk a little bit about how I picked my fridge, because I get a lot of questions about that, and most likely it's, unless you're putting in a big electrical system, the fridge is probably going to be the biggest purchase you'll make. Couple of considerations. First, what you'll want to do is buy a cooler that you think is the right size, like a cheap cooler, and go on a couple of road trips with that, because you're going to want to know how much space it takes up in the van. You're going to want to know where exactly you want it in the van, where you find it convenient to use. How much do you actually eat the food from your cooler versus stopping and eating out along the way? And then how much food can you actually fit in it? And is there anything that you wished you could bring that didn't fit? So travel with the cooler a little bit. So once you've tested it with the cooler and you know for sure that the capacity is what you want, then you're going to want to get the dimensions of the actual fridge that you're thinking about buying online and build your platform and your setup around that fridge. So for me, one important characteristic of this one was the height, because when the bed frame is fully extended, whoever's sleeping on this side, we can slide the mattress back and they can rest their head on the fridge. So this becomes an extra space for us to use. So for me, what the decision finally came down to is that I knew I wanted it here. I knew what size I wanted. It was something big because we eat almost all of our meals out of the cooler. And I wanted something with an adjustable temperature, but I didn't need a freezer. For me, the shape of it was really important because my cooler had big bulky wheels on the outside and a handle. And as you can see, like every space in this van is maximized, and I didn't want to have to leave extra space on the sides and the back for the wheels or the handle. So this one is a nice boxy shape with everything really compact. And the other thing that was important to me is that I could get it at a local store. I had a lot of hesitation about this, and I wasn't 100% sure it was going to be perfect, so I wanted to be able to make an easy return. I didn't want to have to try to deal with sending a big fridge back to Amazon. So I got this, it was available at Home Depot. It was a little more expensive than I originally thought I would spend, but for me, being able to buy it local and knowing that I could send it back if it didn't work, that extra peace of mind was really important to me. Let me show you a little bit about how it works and what space it has inside. So the power for this, it has AC power and a 12-volt plug, and I just keep them both plugged into the cooler. If the AC is plugged in, it will draw from this. So that just stays plugged in, and if it's not plugged in, then it's got the 12-volt, which plugs right into this here. So it'll charge while I'm driving. And I don't have a solar system yet. I will eventually, but right now I just keep this plugged in while I'm driving. I've used it when it was up to about 85 degrees and in the upper 50s at night, and it stayed cool for about 2 days. When I got back in the van after 2 days in those temperatures and not having driven it, when I got back in the van, it was about 50 something inside. So it wasn't great, but it definitely was keeping most things cool enough. So this is the cover that I bought for it, which I quickly realized I was going to need because I keep it in the van all the time to save the hassle of taking it out and putting it back in again. It gets caught on some of these things off the kitchen, but that's actually fine with me because then it also holds it up when I'm using it. So that works out. It has these baskets that you can take out, and I take these into the house to fill and put back in. And I actually put some ice in the bottom of this if I'm going for a long time, or I put frozen foods in the bottom, so that will keep other things cool as well. And then there's enough space. The way that I built this, there's airflow right here. There's a little vent. And then there's another vent in the back in this corner, and I just keep that free. I don't put anything up against that and make sure there's plenty of room, and it seems to be doing fine. So the temperature control panel is way down here, and you can't see down in there. It's too dark, but it's pretty easy to adjust. And when it's plugged in and it's on, you can see the reading very, very easily. So some drawbacks to this fridge. The first thing is that it's very heavy. So I can't take it out of the van without taking the kitchen out first. Granted, that only takes like a minute or two, but it takes 2 people to lift the fridge, And I do leave it in here all the time. It's probably not great for gas mileage. It's also much bigger than I need for a weekend trip. We were gone for 10 days a little while ago, didn't stop at the store along the way, almost didn't eat out at all, and it was packed. So that is the right amount of space for us, but it's way too much for a weekend. Okay, and like I said, it was a little expensive for the fridges that you get. So, but other than that, I really like it. I would definitely get the same one again. All right, I think that's it. If you have any questions about the fridge, go ahead and post them in the comments.